Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wrestling Experience. My name is Earl Cole, and this is Thursday. And oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, this is a Thursday that you cannot miss. This Wrestling Experience is a can't miss because tonight we've got plethora of wrestling news. We've got plethora of Dynamite to talk about. We've got the Elimination Chamber predictions to get to, and we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw. All of this and so much more here tonight on the Wrestling Experience because it's Thursday and you landed on that mothership. It's the mothership of all shows. It's the experience. It's the Wrestling Experience. All right, folks, welcome back to the experience. And please make sure that you hit the like button. Make sure you smash that like button. And make sure that you do it in earnest. And do it right away. Smash that like button. Do it today, don't delay. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Well, let's talk about Monday Night Raw first of all. Let's talk about it. The Elimination Chambers this Saturday, folks, in Chicago. At, of course, the United Center in Chicago will host the Elimination Chamber. And I'm going to tell you this much, folks. The United Center hasn't seen a WWE action in over 30 years. And this is going to be unprecedented for WWE. Who is going to win the Elimination Chamber? We will find out this Saturday, and I will talk about the Chamber in lanes when we get to our predictions. So let's talk about Raw for a second. And this was a very telling Raw. And I'm going to tell you why I say that and why I think that this was very telling. First of all, the vision. WWE needs to stop with these vision run-ins and all of this run-ins and interference and coming out on the segment. The vision needs a change. The faction needs a change. And I also think the vision is a curse. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. The vision needs something else to do in the program. And I just think that this is the time for the WWE to change this faction because this vision thing is absolutely getting weary on the audience. All right, let's talk about this for a second. It was a triple threat match to put some one of these men inside the Elimination Chamber. We had one spot left inside the chamber for the men. So it was Jey Uso, Grande Americana, and Bronson Reed in a triple threat match. Okay, the match was set. The match was fine for what it was. But what happened was is Bronson Reed tore his quadricep muscle. He tore his I believe that was his quadricep. And his bicep attended muscle, excuse me, not the quadricep, the bicep. He tore the bicep and he's out of action indefinitely. So again, the vision is cursed. Rollins is injured, Bronson Reed is out, and Braun Breaker is out. So there's 3 men in the division that are gone from WWE. And they will be out indefinitely. So you don't think that this faction is cursed? Well, I don't know about that, folks, but I shudder to think what's going to happen here. So anyway, folks, the WWE had to make a swerve here. They had to make a swerve because Bronson Reed was originally supposed to win the match, but because he was injured and because the referee put up an X sign and because he had to be removed from the match, we had no alternative but to give it to Jey Uso. And why do you fans hate Jey Uso so much? The video of him winning the chamber and going over got 20K in dislikes. 20 plus K dislike for Jey Uso winning the chamber. Why? Why? Why did Jey Uso get so much dislike for him to win the chamber? What do you want the WWE to do? What do you want them to do? You want them to give it to a Grande Americana? No, that's not the right fit. That's not the right person to go in the chamber. It was either Jay or it was Bronson. All right, so Bronson Reed got injured and he couldn't continue in the match. So what else is the WWE going to do? They had to give it to Jey Uso. They leaned towards Jey Uso to win go in the chamber. And you people are hating on it. Why? Why? Why are you hating on it? Why are you souring on it? Your fans are very fickle. You're very fickle. And that is what our dear departed Jeffrey Turner used to say. He used to say it all the time. Fans were fickle. You are fickle. You are fickle. What do you want the WWE to do at this point? They had no alternative but to give it to Jey Uso. They had no alternative. There's nobody else. And you people are hating on him because he went in the chamber. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. But anyway, I digress. Anyway, I digress. All right, folks. So Jey Uso wins the triple threat. He's going into Chicago in the chamber. So he's going to join Javon Evans. He's going to join Javon Evans. He's going to join Randy Orton. He's going to join Cody Rhodes in the chamber. And we all know Cody Rhodes is winning the chamber. It's obvious to WWE what they're going to do here. It's blatantly obvious. And now, from what I understand, there's a rumor going around that they're going to make this a 5-way. Jeffrey, how's it going tonight? They're going to make this match a 5-way at WrestleMania for the title, Drew McIntyre's title. They're not going to make it a triple threat anymore. They're making it 5-way. I don't know what the WWE is doing here. I don't know what they're doing here. All I know is Jey Uso should not have gotten those kind of hate. He was in a predicament. Yeah, a 5-way. That's what I heard. That's what I heard, Jeffrey. A fatal 5-way. Because the fans did not like the triple threat with Rhodes and of course McIntyre. The fans didn't like it. The fans didn't like it. They didn't like the triple threat. They didn't like the formula WWE came up with. putting Jacob Fatu in the fatal four in the fatal in that triple threat. So now they're gonna make it a 5-way. Drew McIntyre is making a lot of enemies. He certainly is. So, what do you think the WWE is going to do here? All right, so Jey Uso wins the Elimination Chamber. Bronson Reed is injured. He's going to have surgery, and he's going to be put on the shelf indefinitely again. And you all hated it. Like MJF. Yep. And you all hated it. You all hated it. You all hated Jey Uso winning the match. The WWE had no alternative but to give that last spot to Jey Uso. You couldn't put a Grande Americana in it. That does not a right fit. That doesn't fit the chamber. It's blurry. Yeah, it's blurry, all right. Just cancel the vision. Yeah. It's blurry, yeah. So the vision is cursed. So now we got 3 members of the vision out. As I said, Bronson Reed is done for the foreseeable future. He's on the shelf indefinitely. Rollins is on the shelf indefinitely. And Braun Breaker's on the shelf indefinitely. So that's 3 people in the vision. And you need to change the faction. Stop putting the vision in every Raw segment. They don't need to be in every Raw segment. It's not necessary. And that's just my opinion and my opinion only. All right. Let's continue with Raw. Gunther comes out and he is mocking AJ Styles. Gunther comes out and he's mocking AJ Styles. Again, like I said before, Gunther gets tossed out of the ring by Adam Pearce. He gets tossed out of the building. Now it's just Logan Paul, Theory, and with yes. So Adam Pearce tosses out Gunther after mocking of AJ Styles. And Dragon Lee wants a piece of Gunther. Dragon Lee wants a piece of Gunther. Will he get it? He probably will. All right, folks, let's continue on with the evening. So AJ Styles comes out. He says to the crowd, he thanks the crowd, he thanks everybody. But what we didn't know, folks, what is it? Gunther had to be on some shenanigans. Yeah, exactly. He had to be on some kind of shenanigans. So anyway, what we found out from Fightful Select and other news outlets is that AJ has a hurt neck. His neck is hurting him. So this is why he lost to Gunther, because I think AJ realized that if he would have continued and he would have beat Gunther, eventually he would have to get that surgery on his neck or some kind of treatment for the neck. And then he would have been out of action indefinitely. And I don't think he wanted to do that way. So he wanted to retire. He wanted Gunther to beat him at the Royal Rumble. And I think that's what they went with. I think that AJ was hurt, and he was hurt. And we didn't know that. We didn't know that AJ was hurt. So what happens is that the WWE went with Gunther defeating AJ at the Royal Rumble and retiring him, versus him keep going on with the injured neck. I was angry at first at why they did this to AJ, but okay, now I know. Now I got it. Why you went with what you went with. Okay. I was angry at first, I was bitter at first, but now I got it. All right. So AJ says goodbye to the WWE Universe in Atlanta. All of a sudden, ladies and gentlemen, The Undertaker comes out and he says to AJ, "We have some unfinished business." AJ looks around like, "Uh oh, is this man going to challenge me in a match?" No. Undertaker was still in character when he says, and then he broke character and says, "Well, it's my esteemed honor to inform you that you will be the next inductee in the WWE class of 2026 Hall of Fame." We all were, our jaws dropped. I got the chills and my jaws dropped. AJ Styles is going into the WWE Hall of Fame, and rightfully so. This was absolutely poetic justice for AJ Styles. He goes out and retires. He's just lost to Gunther, and he's a man of his word. He took off his gloves. He took off the jacket. He's a man of his word. He lost the match, and now he's retired, but he gets the other side of the gold. He gets to be inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame, and I cannot wait for his speech. I cannot wait what he's going to say, and I cannot wait to see who inducts him. This is going to be absolutely poetic justice for AJ Styles, and he rightfully deserves it. 100% does he deserve to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. Now, WWE, for the last 2 to 3 years, you haven't done this. Please, please, please induct Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt needs to go into the WWE Hall of Fame. It's been too long. Bray Wyatt needs to go into the WWE Hall of Fame next to AJ, next to Stephanie, and that's who you should induct next. That's who you should induct next. Is Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt deserves to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. He needs to go into the WWE Hall of Fame. So if I were you, I would. You already inducted Stephanie. You already inducted AJ. The next person that should be inducted is Bray Wyatt, and that is who should be inducted. And JoJo Offerman should be invited, and she should induct her husband in the WWE Hall of Fame. That's who should go into the Hall of Fame next. That's what WWE needs to do. I've said it 1,000,001 times. AJ Styles goes into the Hall of Fame, and so should Bray Wyatt. At last. And then the next two people that should go into the Hall of Fame too, Lillian Garcia and Charles Robinson. Another two people that deserves to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. So you have Wyatt, Charles, Lillian, Stephanie, and AJ. All those people should go into that class. That's the class right there. That's the class that needs to go into the WWE Hall of Fame. That is the class. There is no doubt about it in my mind. There's no doubt about it in my mind who the class should be. It should be Stephanie, AJ, Wyatt, Charles, and Lillian. All of those people need to go in the WWE Hall of Fame this year. All of them. Hey, King, how's it going tonight? Hit the like button, King. Hit the like button. This was so good. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. AJ debuted at the Royal Rumble 2016 and retired at the Royal Rumble 2026. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. This was like the Undertaker coming out to Ric Flair's retirement. Yep. I agree. Yeah, yeah. That's who should be inducted. That is who. That is the class of 2026. I'm going to say it again. The class of 2026 should be. Well, it's already Stephanie. It's already AJ. Put Bray Wyatt in there, Lillian Garcia, and Charles Robinson. That's your class. That is your class of 2026. Those people need to go into the WWE Hall of Fame. And I will not accept anything less. Bray should have been a solo inducted by himself next year. Yeah, I understand that. I understand that, Jeff. But I think that Bray should finally get into the class of WWE Hall of Fame. He needs to go into the Hall of Fame. Why is WWE not doing it? Why are they not pulling the trigger on it? Why are they not pulling the trigger on it? Bray Wyatt needs to go into WWE Hall of Fame. I've said this a million and one times on many shows. I've said it a million and one times. And I wouldn't have a problem with those class. I wouldn't. Especially Charles Robinson. My gosh. How long has he been a referee? How old is Charles Robinson? How long has he been a loyal soldier to the WWE? That man needs to go into the Hall of Fame for dang sure. That man needs to go into the WWE Hall of Fame. And Lillian Garcia, she's another loyal soldier. She needs to go in the Hall of Fame too, and so does Charles. I'm telling you, folks, that is the class. That is who should go into the WWE Hall of Fame. That's who should go into the Hall of Fame. Charles Robinson and Lillian, I agree. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I just wish the WWE would just pull the trigger. Just pull the trigger. Give Charles and Lillian and Bray their flowers and put them in the Hall of Fame. That's who should go into the Hall of Fame. Not who should go into the Hall of Fame. You put Stephanie, AJ, Lillian, Charles, and Bray. Those are the people that belong in the WWE Hall of Fame. All right. All right. Cole should be in there too. Yeah, Michael Cole is another one. If you want me perfectly, yes, Michael Cole deserves to be in the Hall of Fame too. That's your class. That's your class, folks. That is your class of 2026. That's your class, and I wouldn't have a problem with it. I would have one iota issue with it. Wouldn't. So, folks, that was Monday Night Raw. Those are the highlights of Raw. AJ goes into the Hall of Fame. Jay Uso gets the most dislike on social media because he wins the Elimination Chamber. You all are ridiculous. You don't know what a good thing is if you know what it bit you. So AJ wins. AJ goes into the Hall of Fame. Congratulations to AJ Styles and his family for going into the WWE Hall of Fame. It's going to be an emotional night, for sure, for AJ. I can't wait to see who inducts him. I can't wait to see, excuse me, I can't wait to see who inducts Stephanie. I think that's going to be interesting. So the class of 2026 is coming together quite nicely. I want to see who else goes into that class. Like I said before, I told you already my picks for the class. So that was Monday Night Raw, folks. That was Monday Night Raw. All right. All right. All right, folks. It's time for the Elimination Chamber predictions. All right. So, as you all know, folks, the Elimination Chamber will happen this Saturday on ESPN app. And of course, pay-per-view, cable, and home satellite providers, and all social media platforms will be watching this show for certain. I'm going to do the Elimination Chamber this year, and I'll bring you the Elimination Chamber. I'm going to call the matches for you. It will happen on Saturday night at 7 p.m., as I said, on ESPN. I'll be on the air at 6:50 for the Elimination Chamber. We're going to have fun on Saturday night with the Chamber. So I'm going to give you my predictions, my thoughts on this Chamber. I think the build is okay for this Chamber. I'm not going to jump up and down about it. I think it was okay, the build. The build was okay. The build was fine. This is the first time in over 30 years the WWE has hosted a PLE inside the United Center. And it's been a long, lengthy absence. As you know, they always go to Rosemont, Illinois, and the All-State Arena there and do their PLEs, their WrestleMania. They did WrestleMania there. They did Raw there. They done SmackDown there. So Rosemont has seen its share in history of WWE wrestling. But this is the United Center. In the SmackDown in the middle of Chicago and the downtown area. So and Netflix too, internet, yes, and Netflix too, and internationally. So thank you, Jeffrey, for that. Um, so like I said, these matches that you're going to see on Saturday, I I don't have a problem with them. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have an issue with it. So let's just jump into it. Let's just jump into it. The Women's Intercontinental Championship match. Becky Lynch will defend against AJ Lee. The match is going to be fine. The match is going to be great. The match is going to be okay for what it is. AJ Lee has gotten under the skin of Becky Lynch. Lynch cannot stand AJ Lee, and Becky Lynch is a delusional heel, as everybody knows. She is the Lulu. She is the Lulu, ladies and gentlemen. She's the Lulu. So, um, who's gonna win this match? You know something, folks? I don't know. I, I don't. I don't know how to predict this match because this match could go either way. It could swing either way. I mean, we could have a Becky retainment, which is probably what the WWE will probably travel on, or we can get us a swerve and have an AJ Lee pinning Becky Lynch and winning the title. I don't know how to predict this match, folks. I don't know. Jeffrey says I got Rhea. Rhea's not in this match, is she? She's not in the Intercontinental Championship match. She's not in the championship match. Uh, what did Jeffrey say? Becky wins or AJ wins via DQ. Well, yeah, I could see that. I can see that. I could see that. And what did Jeffrey say? They drag it out for Mania. Yeah, well that's another thing they could do. I mean, okay, here's what I think will happen here. I think we're gonna get a screwy finish in this match. I think this match is gonna have a screwy finish. Becky is gonna cheat. She's gonna do everything in her power to cheat and win and retain her title. She's gonna win. So I'm gonna say Becky Lynch is gonna retain, but on controversial fashion. She's gonna do something screwy. Something screwy is gonna happen in this match, and AJ is gonna have a sour puss on her face, and she's not gonna like the result. And we're gonna get a rematch at WrestleMania, and this is when AJ wins the belt over Becky, which is probably what WWE is gonna do. I jumped the gun, my bad. Okay, okay. All right, so I have AJ Lee losing to Becky Lynch under some controversial, various fashion. All right. The World's Heavyweight Championship. It is CM Punk versus Finn Balor. Finn Balor has been wanting to be a champion for a vastly long time, and he had the match with Punk in Belfast, and it didn't go his way. And now Finn is being turned on the evil Jets, and he wants to put down CM Punk and win the title and march on to WrestleMania. All right, the match is going to be fine for what it was. The match is going to be fine. Okay. Yeah, Becky Trumps is going to cheat. Yeah, of course she is. Of course she will. Of course she will. So, getting back to Finn Balor and AJ Styles, the match is going to be fine. The match is going to be great for what it was. I'm looking forward to the match. I think the match is going to have a lot of twists and turns to it. That the pendulum could swing either way. But I don't see Finn Balor winning here at the Chamber. So I have CM Punk retaining. CM Punk will retain his title at the Elimination Chamber. He will then march on to WrestleMania, where he will take on the one and the only Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania. So I don't see Balor winning the belt. I see Punk retain. Punk will retain, and then he will go on and dance with Roman at WrestleMania. All right. Yep, CM Punk retains. Yep, that's what I said. CM Punk retains, and retain he will at the Elimination Chamber. Okay. Let's talk about the Women's Elimination Chamber match. It is Tiffany Stratton versus Rhea Ripley versus Alexa Bliss versus Asuka versus Kiana James versus Raquel Rodriguez. So we got a lot here. We got a lot on the line here. WrestleMania. I can see Finn facing Dominic. Dominic gets the IC title at WrestleMania. I can see Finn facing Dom, get his title. Well, that's another thing that the WWE could do. And I think Dirty Dom needs to lose that Intercontinental Champion because he's a poor champion. He hasn't defended that at all, that championship. And again, if I had my way and if I was the president of the WWE, Dom Mysterio would not be a champion at all because he hasn't defended within 30 days. They need to reinstitutionalize the 30-day clause for some of these champions. If you can't defend your title within 30 days, you should be stripped. And that's what you need to do. And that's what it ought to be. If you don't defend the title in 30 days, you're stripped. You're done. You're not a champion anymore because when you don't have the championship prominent on TV, you are spitting in the face of the legacy of the title. I've said this 1,000,001 times. You're spitting in the face of all of the men who have bled, sweat, and tears for that Intercontinental Championship and make it relevant. When you don't defend the title, you're spitting at the face of the legacy of the title. And that is something I have a problem with and an issue with. If you don't defend the title within 30 days, you are finished. You're done. You're fish fried. You do not deserve the title and it will be stripped from you. And we will have another champion that will be prominent on TV, that will bring the title to some relevancy. He only defends it in triple A title, AAA title. Yeah, I think that's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous. So, getting back to the women's chamber match. Okay. We have Tiffany Stratton, Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, and Kiana James versus Raquel Rodriguez. Who's going to win this chamber? Well, the person who wins the chamber will have to take on Jade Cargill at WrestleMania because, as you know, on Monday Night Raw, Liv Morgan made her choice, and she is going to dance with Stephanie Vaquer at WrestleMania. So it will be Stephanie and Liv at WrestleMania for the title. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it. Jeffrey said he has Rhea. So I think I'm going to go with what Jeffrey says here. I'm going to go with what Jeffrey says here. Rhea Ripley will be your 2026 Elimination Chamber winner, and she will take on Jade Cargill at WrestleMania. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with Rhea winning the Chamber and taking on Jade. I don't have a problem with it. I think that's the right choice. I think that's a brilliant choice. Brilliant stuff by you, Jeffrey. I mean, okay. Rhea wins the chamber. And my dark horse would be Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton could win, but I don't think the WWE needs to dial back any more championships with Tiffany. But that is my dark horse. The dark horse is Tiffany, and my winner is Rhea. We've seen Jade versus Tiffany. Yes, we have. That's what I mean. We don't need to see that again. We don't need to dial that back. We've seen it already. Been there, done that. You're right, Jeffrey. Been there, done that. So I'm going to pick Rhea. Rhea wins the 2026 Elimination Chamber. Okay. All right, folks, we're up to the last one. Men's Elimination Chamber. It is Randy Orton versus LA Knight versus Cody Rhodes versus Javon Evans versus Trick Williams versus Jay Uso. All right. We all, you know something, folks. You know something, folks. This men's chamber is so blatantly obvious. It's not even going to be entertaining. It's not. It's not going to be entertaining. And why I say it's not going to be entertaining? Because we all know who's going to win the dang chamber. I don't need to predict this match. I don't need to predict it. None of the other men are going to win this chamber. They're not going to. WWE doesn't want to think outside the box. They're lazy when it comes to the booking. They're lazy. So, based upon the laziness, like I said, they're lazy. They're gonna pick Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is gonna win the chamber. I got Randy as my choice. Yeah, Randy's another option. Randy's another option. But we all know Cody's winning the chamber, and he's gonna go after McIntyre. Even though McIntyre has said that Cody cannot ask for a title match because there's no rematch. Well, this is the way for Cody to go back into the WrestleMania main event picture. He wins the chamber and he goes after McIntyre. But hold the phone. WWE is saying that because the fans were upset about the triple threat, now we're going to make it a fatal five-way. I don't know, folks. This Randy's 10th chamber. Yep. Yes, indeed. So Jeffrey has Orton winning the chamber. I have Cody winning the chamber. It's obvious. It's obvious who's going to win the chamber. It's obvious this men's chamber should not even happen. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. You should just give it to Cody Rhodes as the number one because that's who you're going to go with. It's lazy. It's blatantly lazy. It's what it is. It's lazy. So what if Jacob somehow costs Cody or Drew costs? Well, that's another thing too. We could get. We can get that in the elimination chamber. Maybe McIntyre's scared of Cody. Is he? Is he? As he is, he's scared of Cody. He could attack Cody before Cody goes into the Lexon pod, and then they have to take Cody out of the match. That could happen. I can see that happening. But knowing the WWE, they want to see Cody and Drew fight. That's what they want. And I want to let everybody know something. I want to let you all in on a little secret here. I'll let you all know something. What Jeffrey said. Remember when Jay beat the brakes out of Naomi last? Yep. She went right after Naomi. She went right. Excuse me. She went right after. All right, folks. All right. So, folks, that is my predictions for the Elimination 2026. You can watch the Elimination Chamber, folks. I'll be on the air at 6:50 Eastern Daylight Standard Time if y'all keep it where it is. All right. So those are my predictions. That's who I think is going to go win the chamber, and we're going to move on in the program. So breaking news, folks. Breaking news. Um, they're supposed to. They're supposed to open it. What do you mean, Jeffrey? They're supposed to open it. I don't. What's that mean, Jeffrey? Um, I got this breaking news from WrestlingNews.co. Oh yes, the box, the mystery box. Yeah, what's in the mystery box? We're gonna find out on Saturday night. This breaking news just happened a while ago, folks, and this is from WrestlingNews.co. The WWE has updated the schedule for WrestleMania 42 at Allegiant Stadium in Vegas per Ticketmaster. The start time for both nights has been moved to 2:30 local time from the previous 4 p.m. So apparently WrestleMania is going to start 2:30 p.m. In Las Vegas versus 4 p.m. I'm not sure why WWE did this. They're going to start 2:30 local time in Las Vegas. So it's not starting at 4 o'clock, it's starting at 2:30. I'm not sure why WWE did this. I don't know why they're doing it. And speaking of WrestleMania, folks, the ticket sales are so bad. The ticket sales for WrestleMania's both nights have been sluggish. It is so bad. The WWE had to put on a PR market system to just try to boost the sales of the tickets by giving a deal, a, a percentage deal off the tickets at Allegiant Stadium. They did it this past week, an emergency meeting just to try to boost ticket sales. But you know something, folks? This WrestleMania is marred with so many problems. It's not funny. First of all, the fans are upset that it went back to Vegas. That was one thing. Then the ticket prices are so astronomically out of control and so high, fans can't even make it. They can't even afford it. I can't even afford it. I can't afford WrestleMania. So early WrestleMania is good for me. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it. You want to make it start at 2:30? That's fine by me. So so here's the thing, folks. Here's the thing. First of all, the ticket sales are abysmal for WrestleMania, from what I understand. There's a lot of seats available for both nights. There is a lot of seats available. Now, there are some fans that did buy their seats. They didn't mind paying out all those highfalutin prices for the WrestleMania ticket. Didn't mind paying it, but now, ladies and gentlemen, everything is slowing down. And injuries on, yes, and all the injuries on top of it. And all the adjustment in the matches that the WWE is going to do. So again, if you didn't hear the announcement, WWE has adjusted the WrestleMania 42 schedule from two with an earlier start time of 2:30 instead of 4 p.m. So no more 4 p.m. It'll start at 2:30. I don't have a problem with this. I don't have a problem with this. What I do have a problem with, and I'm kind of concerned, is the seats. It's the tickets. How are you going to push the rest of the tickets for night number one and night number two? That's going to be a very tall tale sign. All right.
Please rise for the jury. This morning, children's book author Corey Richards back in court.
I gave him his time.
Okay. All right, folks. So that was the story about WrestleMania. That was the story about WrestleMania. Are you ready for some wrestling news, folks? Let's get to it. If you all didn't hear the news about AEW, I'm going to give it to you right now. AEW is coming to New York City, and they're bringing a pay-per-view to New York. As reported by the New York Post, AEW is bringing Double or Nothing to the Big Apple. Double or Nothing, the award-winning show of the year as voted by Sports Illustrated, will come to the Louis Armstrong Stadium on Sunday, the 24th of May. That is May 24. That is Sunday, May 24. Premium early access seating will begin on March the 3rd at 10 a.m. So don't forget, the pre-sale tickets will go on sale March the 2nd, excuse me, not the 3rd, March 2nd at 10 a.m. Eastern. And tickets will go on sale the 9th of March. The 9th of March at 10 a.m. Eastern on Ticketmaster.com. So that's the big news on Double or Nothing. And Jeffrey said, "Are you going, Earl?" Yeah, absolutely. I will attend Double or Nothing. I would love to go. I would love to go on Sunday, May the 24th. I would love to go. I went to the first two Grand Slams in Arthur Ashe Stadium. I went to the first two Grand Slams, and I had a lot of fun in that. It's a huge tennis complex to get through on the train. It's a lot of walking to get from city, because you got to go through City Field all the way over to the tennis centers section of the park, and it's enormous. It's a lot of walking, but I'm going to tell you something, folks. The trip is worth it. I'm looking forward to this. I think Double or Nothing's going to be fun. I think that's going to be great. I can't wait to do it. I think it's going to be fun. This is the first AEW pay-per-view in the New York market. I mean, they had of course, Full Gear twice in the Prudential Center, but this is the first time that Double or Nothing is coming to New York, and it's coming to the Louis Armstrong Stadium. This stadium holds about 20,000 people from bell to floor. So it's going to be interesting to see how they configure the floor and take the tennis out of it and make the aisle and everything. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting, folks. I think everybody should attend this show. And if you want to be part of history, yeah, that is cool. That is cool. I think this is going to be great. So this again, like I said, the pre-sale will begin on March the 2nd for Double or Nothing, and then the actual tickets go on sale Monday, March the 9th at 10 a.m. for Double or Nothing. Jeffrey said you should definitely go. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go, Jeffrey. I think this is going to be fun. I think this show is going to be fun. It's going to be a fun show. It's going to be a good show. It's in May, and I think the fans will come out for this show, and I think Double or Nothing will sell out. There's just no doubt about it that this show will sell out. It is AEW's first pay-per-view in the New York market, and they're offering this in the tennis stadium, and I don't have a problem with it. I don't have to. I don't think them. I don't have a problem with it. I think this is going to be historic. It's going to be historic. Another historic thing for AEW. All right. Let's talk about Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes, according to the Wrestling Wrestling News Co. During a Wednesday appearance on ESPN's Unsportsmanlike, Cody Rhodes addressed his long-term future and retirement plans. Rhodes started that while he no longer has specific an end date mapping out for his in-ring career, he confirms that his next contract will be his last. I don't know whatever's next deal that I have signed with WWE. I ain't going anywhere. The next deal will be the last, Rhodes said. He also pointed out to peers like Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Brock Lesnar as evidence that age is no longer a barrier in the modern wrestling industry. So apparently Cody Rhodes is saying that his if he re-signs with the WWE, this is it. As the song would say, make no mistakes where you are, this is it. So Rhodes says that he's done. Next year will be his last year. Yeah, I think that's what Cody is saying here. I think this is what Cody is saying. And if that's the case, then you shouldn't make him win the chamber then. But no, in WWE, this is what they're going to do. They're going to make him win the chamber. All right. All right, let's talk about AJ Lee. AJ Styles, not Lee. Let's talk about AJ Styles for a second. Carl Anderson spoke on the Talking Shop podcast about his return to WWE Raw for AJ Styles' retirement tribute. Anderson reveals that he was initially skeptical about Styles retiring, assuming he would have leave for another promotion. Following the tribute in Atlanta, Anderson spoke with Styles backstage, And according to Anderson, Styles cited several neck pains and the physical toll of his career as the main reason for his retirement, adding that he wanted to focus on helping the next generation of wrestlers. So AJ Styles had a neck injury, as I said, and I alluded to earlier. This is why he had Gunther defeat him at the Royal Rumble. He couldn't do it anymore. So that's what happened. And he wants to help the next generation go through the ropes. I don't have a problem with this at all. If they made AJ Styles a Hall of Famer and they made him a coach, I don't have a problem with it. I don't. Because you can learn a lot from a wrestler like AJ, a pro wrestler like Triple H, you can learn from all of these guys, Shawn Michaels, you can learn from all of them. They've been through those ropes. They've been through those bumps. They know all the ins and outs of wrestling. They know. And once you get trained by them, I mean, that's a feather in your cap. Can you imagine somebody, a wrestler, coming up into the WWE system and they are a rookie and they said, "Oh, who trained you?" "Oh, AJ Styles." I mean, come on. I mean, I would be climbing up the walls, want to know his knowledge and what he knows. I'm glad he wants to be a coach. Yeah, I'm glad too. I just think that it's just great that he wants to help the next generation. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have an issue with it whatsoever. I think he has a lot of vast knowledge. He's very talented, very charismatic in the ring, and he's just a great presence. And I think AJ would serve a lot to these young rookies and let them learn a thing or two about wrestling. Good stuff. All right. AJ Styles is going to be a TNA Hall of Famer soon enough too. Yeah, I agree with that. All right, folks. Let's talk about LA Knight. Yeah. LA Knight is opening up about his ongoing frustration with WWE as he prepares for the biggest opportunity of his career. Despite arguably being one of the most popular superstars on the roster for the past 3 years, Knight has yet to capture World Championship. He will have the chance to change that trajectory when he steps inside the Elimination Chamber on February 28th to battle Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Trick Williams, and G-Von Evans. A victory would secure him highly coveted undisputed championship against McIntyre at 42, WrestleMania 42. Speaking on ESPN Sports Center ahead of the premium event, Knight was asked what earning that marquee match would mean to him. It would mean a lot. It will all this pay off. Everything Knight said on all efforts, all the time, all the blood, sweat, and tears, all the stuff that you hear everybody talk about, it's real. As far as I'm concerned, me being the world title picture, WrestleMania is overdue, if you ask me. When asked if he currently having fun with the company, the megastar admitted that his passion often leads to aggravation when dealing with his position in the yeah. Well, imagine learning from the Undertaker too. That's huge. So LA Knight says that he wants to win this chamber. He wants to win this chamber, and he deserves to win the chamber. The WWE has been jobbering him out. They use LA Knight to come into the ring and attack the Vision, which to me is boring. I find it to be very boring. If you want me to be perfectly honest with you, it's boring. LA Knight needs to do something else in his booking. And I shudder to think. Okay. Good luck to LA Knight. All right. If you all didn't hear about Vince McMahon's trial and his car speeding, he got off on that. Mr. McMahon has qualified for a diversion program, allowing him to avoid a conviction for his charges. As long as he stays out of trouble and completes the program, his case will be dismissed in 1 year. The prosecution did not object to his participation. So Mr. McMahon is going to participate in the program for speeding, and he's going to get off. So that's the story on Vince McMahon. And LA Knight needs something. Yes, he does. Yep. All right, so Vincent McMahon was caught speeding and they gave him a citation. He's now allowed to go into this program, and it looks like he'll be if he does good behavior, he could get his sentence done in a year. That was a crazy crash. It certainly was. So okay. All right, folks, that was the story of Vince McMahon. Excuse me, folks, I'm tired. Long day. All right, folks. All right, here's some WrestleMania story. Courtesy of RingsideNews.com. WWE has blackened off its blackout strategy, expanding it. After stirring controversy in Las Vegas with strict watch party restriction tied to WrestleMania 42, the company is now has rolled out the same playbook in Chicago ahead of the Elimination Chamber. And local bars and venues are finding it hard that way. According to Fightful Select, WWE is actively blocking Elimination Chamber watch parties in Chicago area as part of the effort to push more fans into the United Center on February 28th. The report states the Elimination Chamber watch parties in Chicago area are being blocked due to WWE's new blackout rules in the effort to increase ticket sales. Translation: if you are planning to grab a drink and catch a show at a nearby bar, that option will not exist. So WWE is blocking everyone in that market. Now, if you live in the Chicago market, okay? If you live in the Chicago market and you want to do a watch party for WrestleMania, you won't be able to. Because WWE does not allow you anymore to do watch parties. You can't just order the pay-per-view and watch it. WWE doesn't want you to do that anymore. So what they're doing instead is they want you to just join them live. Join them live, and you can be part of it all. Now, I don't understand this. I don't think this is fair. I don't think this is fair to the fans. I really don't think this is fair. They want people to come to the show. Yeah, that's what I mean. They want people to come to the show. But if you can't afford the show, then what are you supposed to do? So apparently WWE does not want watch parties to stream the event in a restaurant. They want you to instead come to the event and pay that exuberant money so that they can get your butt in the seat. I don't think this is fair. I think this is completely unfair for WWE to do that. I think that is the most dumbest strategic move I've ever seen done before. It's dumb. There are fans that can't afford to go to the show. So what are they supposed to do? And a lot of fans don't have apps. They don't have an ESPN app. They don't have this. So what is a fan supposed to do? They can't afford to go to the arena. They can't afford to pay the exuberant price for an app. So what do you want the average fan to do? What do you want the average Joe to do? I'm waiting. That's something TK would do. Well, I don't know about that. I know Tony Khan, he wouldn't allow that. He would allow anybody to stream AEW as long as it's not, you're stealing cable from somebody and you're putting it on TV. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I think you should allow fans to beam the show on TV, and because there are fans that can't afford it. So I don't know. I just think this is dumb. I don't know. I find this whack. If you want me to be perfectly honest with you, it's whack. I don't know, folks. I don't know about you. I just find this ruling whack. So if you live in the Chicago area, you can't stream it. If you're living in Vegas and other outskirts of town, you can't stream it. I think this is completely unfair. Completely. I mean, like I said, if you are a poor Joe Schmo person and you can't afford to go in the arena and pay for the arena, but you want to gather your friends and your whoever's into wrestling and make them suffer. Because that's what you're doing. You're making the fans suffer. Yeah, it's desperate. Yes. Yes, it's desperate. I don't think I disagree. I disagree with this wholeheartedly. I disagree. So now they're gonna black you out in Vegas, and they're gonna black you out in Chicago. Unfit, unreal. All right. Let's talk about Miss Janelle Grant. Janelle Grant, if you all didn't know, is the woman that is accusing former WWE COO Vince McMahon of sexual things he did to her. Now, if you all don't know the Janelle Grant story, I brought this out on the Wrestling Experience. I keep bringing out the story. I keep bringing up the story. So what I'm about to read here is several excerpts of what her quotes were and what she said. She was speaking at a Connecticut Alliance to End Sexual Violence. This is when she was speaking. Now, Janelle Grant, folks, I have told you, me and Sarah Hawkin have been following this story on the Wrestling Experience. I brought it out the first time with her and I. and we were talking about all kinds of things that Mr. McMahon did to this poor woman. We can't rehash it anymore. I can't go back and talk about it. But it was there. We brought out a lot of evidence. We brought out a lot of stuff. It's a lot of conversation about Mr. McMahon. And this is what's turning off some fans. Now, some fans have said that they do not want to deal with WWE anymore. They don't want to watch it because of the past transgressions of Mr. McMahon and what he did to women and what he did to the industry and what he did to the whole world. So there are a lot of people who have completely washed their hands of WWE. But this woman, Janelle Grant, she's been through a lot. And this is some of the things she said. I can't read the whole thing because we'll be here all night. But this is what she said. This is some of her quotes. She said, and I quote, "Does this look like we work in a safe environment when destination point if you are hurt is and if you're hurt is weaponized and used of your experience on live TV every Monday night for months by their actions and reactions? That says a lot about the current leadership that it does about me." So that's some of what Janelle Grant is saying. And Jeffrey says it's long and it's degradable. Yes, it is. It's long. And like I said, these are just excerpts. I didn't go through the whole thing. Yeah. So this is what she said to Fightful. This is Fightful Select. Janelle Grant says that the past summer I spent six figures to participate in their investigation on legal retainings and medical care that saved my life. I preserved my evidence, and I believe I would be interviewed for the investigation and would get my life back. Then the feds reached out ahead of speaking with me. I was onboarding a new legal team, and we have given them the evidence and sent to review in advance. Based on the objects reviewed of the hard evidence, communication with the police across the companies, including the leadership then and now, that was now covert investigation in human trafficking and criminal misconduct of WWE and Vince McMahon and his NDA. So this is what Janelle is talking about WWE and how she was mistreated and how she was handled at her time at there. So that was some of the things Janelle Grant said about the WWE. All right, folks. According to WrestleOps, ticket sales for WrestleMania 42 were reportedly worse this week than last week. Despite the discount tickets over the past weekend, it appeared to be zero movement at the lower price. The show is down 17,252 in total sales and comps, or 19.3% behind the pace of last year's. So, what happens in the light will come out in what happens in the dark comes out in the light. I agree with you, Jeffrey. Damn. Yeah, I know. This Janelle Grant story, folks. We're gonna follow it. We're gonna follow it and let you know more as it becomes available. But those were some of the excerpts that she said. All right, like I said, yeah, about WrestleMania, yeah. So let's get back to the WrestleMania story, folks, for a second. So apparently the show is down 17,252 in total sales and comps, 19.3 behind the pace of last year. So the tickets are bad for WrestleMania. It's bad. It's as bad as it's gonna get. And that is because WWE, even though they did a discount on the tickets, it still didn't move the needle. It made no dent in the bucket. I don't know, folks. All right, folks. All right. Well, what did Jeffrey say? They need to do something, get those tight. Yeah, well, I don't know what they're gonna do, Jeffrey. There, there's trouble in paradise. I don't know what the solution is. I don't know what the solution is, and I don't think the WWE knows either. They had an emergency meeting about the ticket sales and what they're gonna do about it. I don't know what they're gonna do about it. I don't know what they're going to do about it. I know one thing is though they have already moved off of Stand and Deliver. Now, Stand and Deliver usually takes place in WrestleMania weekend, but because of what's going on with the ticket sales, even Raw and SmackDown are struggling as well in the T-Mobile Arena, from what I understand. That's struggling too. So WrestleMania is struggling. The Raw and SmackDown are struggling. So what WWE did here and this was smart on their part. They knew that the ticket sales was going to suffer for Stand and Deliver. They took that off their WrestleMania calendar week, and instead it will take place outside before WrestleMania, and I believe the date will be April the 3rd or the 4th. That will be Stand and Deliver, and it will take place in St. Louis instead of WrestleMania weekend, which is a brilliant idea by WWE. Yeah, Stand and Deliver is in April too. Yeah. I think this is great by WWE to do this because you don't want to have the same and get the same snake bitten by trying to do Stand and Deliver in the same arena that's struggling with WWE tickets. You don't want to do that. So this was a brilliant marketing move by WWE. Put Stand and Deliver the earliest that you can possibly get the date in Vegas. In St. Louis. I think this was great. I don't have an issue with this whatsoever. All right, folks, let's talk about AEW Dynamite. AEW on the AEW side, folks. AEW Dynamite took place last night to a packed, sold-out crowd in outside of Denver, Colorado, in the ballroom. I don't have a problem with this whatsoever. And congratulations to AEW on being number one last week, going against the Olympics. They created a buzz, and they became number one, beating out the Olympics. Congratulations to Tony Khan for doing that. As we get closer and closer to Revolution, Revolution will happen on Sunday, on March the 15th in the Crypto.com Arena, downtown Los Angeles, California. And that will be AEW's first pay-per-view offering to everyone on pay-per-view, cable, home, and satellite provider. Okay. And of course, HBO Max. So, 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 getting back to what I was saying. Yeah, so what I was saying, folks. So the WWE has a lot of issues. You have to take it. So AEW last night, Dynamite. Swerve Strickland comes out. The matches were fine for what it was. Swerve Strickland comes out and he tells the world why he's dangerous. Why he's a dangerous man after what he did to Kenny Omega after being fined by Tony Khan and company for his misgivings last week on Dynamite. You think Swerve Strickland cares about a fine? Nope. You don't care about that. So he came out and he talked about how he's the most dangerous man in AEW, and that was Swerve Strickland. All right. Thunder Rosa cut a promo backstage with Chris Statlander, and she talked about Tekla, the spider. It looks like Thunder Rosa, it wants to take on Tekla. And I think that's going to be a very interesting conundrum, as these two women want to dance with each other. Yeah, Thunder's back. Yep, Thunder Rosa. Yes, if you will, with Thunder Rosa. So, why Chris worried about Thunder? Well, she wants her to be careful with Tekla. Because she is a toxic spider and she's not something to toy with. So I think that's why she wanted her to be careful with Tekla. Okay. So that happened on Dynamite last night. We had a wild, and when I mean wild, ladies and gentlemen, 10-man Colorado street fight, Dynamite style. And this was absolutely great. The Bucks wanted their hands on FTR. Remember, FTR and the Bucks will go after the AEW tag team titles at Revolution. And I had no problem with this whatsoever. I think this is a great thing. And Hangman Adam Page and MJF will fight for the AEW heavyweight title. And this time, ladies and gentlemen, it will be a Texas death match. And per Tony Khan, that match is made official. So it is a Texas death match. And MJF and Hangman Adam Page will lock horns at Revolution. She better get the raid. Okay, Jeffrey. You like that, Jeffrey? Thunder Rosa. So that was Dynamite last night, folks. It was a great show, and Darby Allin continues to be a thorn in Gabe Kidd's side, and I think these two are heading for Revolution as well. I don't have a problem with this whatsoever. I think Kenny Omega comes back next week on Dynamite, and he wants to challenge Swerve to a match at at the pay per view. I could see that happening at Revolution. Oh, Jeffrey's cracking up in a minute. Oh man, Jeffrey, you cease to amaze me. All right, folks. All right. That was Dynamite, and that was the wrestling news, and that was your Elimination Chamber predictions. So, folks, that's it. That is it. That's all I got for you here tonight on the Wrestling Experience. The main event at Anarchy in the Rules Field. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. That match was absolutely wild. That Dynamite main event, that was absolutely wild last night. They let it all loose. They let loose last night on Dynamite. She was absolutely woolly wild and all over the place. I gave the match a 10, by the way, folks, in the entertainment level. The match got a 10 for me because I loved it. This was absolutely woolly wild and all over the place. So that was Dynamite, folks. It was awesome. Yeah, it certainly was. It was awesome. So, folks, that's going to do it for the Wrestling Experience. That's it for tonight, folks. That's all the time I have for you. We had a lot of fun here tonight. We talked about the Elimination Chamber. We talked about wrestling news. We had fun here tonight with Raw. I gave you a recap of Raw, wrestling news, my thoughts on the Elimination Chamber, and my predictions, and of course, wrestling news, of course. So all of that I gave you here tonight, and I don't. This was fun, Earl. Thank you very much, Jeff. I appreciate it. So, folks, that's going to do it for the Wrestling Experience. Thank you so much for watching tonight. And don't forget, everyone, to make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and share. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. I can't tell you this much, how much it means to me when you like my videos. If you like my wrestling content, if you like wrestling, if you like the way I call matches, if you like the way I express myself with wrestling and my thoughts on wrestling, then there's a no-brainer for you to go back into my archives, watch all my videos, like the content, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, and of course you hit that like button, and just have fun with the telecast because I have fun every time I do these shows. It's absolutely great. Time to leave the mothership. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So, folks, that's going to do it for me for the Wrestling Experience. I'm going to be back on Saturday night for the Elimination Chamber. We're going to have fun with that. Don't forget, I'll be on the air at 6:50 for the Elimination Chamber. We're going to do the Chamber on Saturday night, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. So, folks, until then, thank you for watching the Wrestling Experience. My name is Earl Cole. Have a great rest of your Thursday, folks, and I'll catch you on Saturday for the Elimination Chamber.